Well, we're catching up with a true music legend, Sergio Mendes, and it's a pleasure to have you.
Great to be here.
Well, you know, it's been a long time since you've been in this country. What about touring? Do you get out and tour very often with the band?
Yes, I've been touring a lot. This year a lot, but before that too.
Well, you've had a very busy year, haven't you, with a very adventurous new album, and the Timeless album. I want to talk to you a bit about that, because I guess, you know, when you were having all those hits 40 years ago, and thinking, I'm probably thinking, what, late 60s here, could you have imagined, or did you ever think at that point that, you know, in the 21st century you'll be putting out probably the most adventurous album of your career?
No, not at all.
No.
And more than that, I mean, to have that song Más que Nada still be a hit 40 years later, that's, for me, I'm very happy about that. Yeah.
Now, to take that song, and that's the opening of the album, of course, and and then totally doing a new treatment to that,
right?
Was I guess that's what bridges the classic days of the '60s with now.
Exactly.
Is that why you chose that?
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that it's one of will.i.am's favorite songs. And so the whole concept of how to do the song was a lot of his ideas that brought the freshness to it, and the way that he approached the song, and you know, and having the Black Eyed Peas as a guest, all of that. My wife sings in the song, by the way, also.
Does she
so
really?
It's a whole family thing.
Wow,
you know?
real family affair.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about that Black Eyed Peas thing, because you were involved with the Elephunk album,
right?
Weren't you? With the track sequence.
That's what it started, the whole thing. Yeah, Will invited me to play the Elephunk album, and it was a Brazilian song. And then I really enjoyed working with him. And I told him, I said, why don't we do something together? You know, we bring those Brazilian classics of the bossa nova days, and that's the music that he loves. And you bring the new, you know, hip hop, R&B, you know, all the young guests to be part of the celebration, and which he did. And so that's really a nice marriage of Brazilian music and hip-hop and R&B and all of that. I mean, we have guests like Stevie Wonder.
Oh, yeah.
We have a Brazilian rapper, Marcelo D2. We have a quartet of guitarists from Brazil named Maugani Quartet. So there's a lot of that I think reflects the diversity of Brazilian music.
Yeah, sure. And also reflects the diversity of R&B that is happening at the moment too, which is, you know, very different to the R&B that was around, you know, in the 60s. I mean, the R&B of Aretha Franklin, for instance, and Otis Redding is very different to the R&B that is happening now.
And then you have great singers like John Legend and India Arie. That's a fantastic singer.
Yeah.
Those are the new great singers of today.
Most definitely. Let's talk a bit about some of those people. Erykah Badu, we'll talk about her, because, you know, what an incredible talent that she is. But just the lineup for the track That Heat. Erykah Badu, will.i.am, and Sergio Mendes. I mean, what a magnificent trio of talent, just to have all in the studio there at the one time.
Yeah, it starts with the song. And the song was a song written by my friend Harry Mancini, A Slow Hot Wind, that I recorded with Brazil 66. And Will loved that song. And so there's that melody that's very haunting. And then he puts the rap, and then we have Erykah, all the components that made that song be brand new again, kind of thing, you know, and feel good.
Were you all in the studio at the one time, recording?
Not on that song, no. Erykah did her vocal, I think, in New York. But most of the songs we were together, yeah.
And what about a concert that brings all of the songs and the performers together? Is that going to happen?
You know, I did a concert in LA at the Hollywood Bowl on June 25th. And I had John Legend and India Arie and Herb Alpert and John Legend.
Wow. And
yeah, it was like a magical evening, and it was great. I mean, and we're going to be performing New Year's Eve in Brazil, in Ipanema.
Wow. With
the Black Eyed Peas and John Legend. So that's this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Wow. There's the place to go for your New Year's Eve party, folks. Justin Timberlake, probably the biggest pop star on the planet at the moment.
Again, great singer, great composer, musician. Pleasure working with him.
Yeah. So, you know, when the two of you come together, you know, that must have been a magic affair in the studio as well.
You know, Will invited him to the studio, and we're playing an introduction of an old song that I wrote called So Many Stars. Just the intro and a couple of chords, just 2 chords. And he came in and he started humming a song, like a melody on top of those, like a new melody that he created. And so magic happened. He was great.
What does Sergio Mendes and Justin Timberlake talk about when the mics are off and you're just sitting around, you know, filling in a bit of time? What was the conversations?
Well, we're laughing a lot because we was very funny. So you know, there's a lot of laughs and a lot of enjoyment for the music, and we're concentrating on the, you know, trying to put a track together. And I don't remember exactly what we talked about, but it was a great experience.
I would imagine it would be a good opportunity for him to be asking you for some longevity tips.
He doesn't need that. He'll be around for a long time.
He will be. He will be. Big star. Sure. India RE, the title track is India.
Beautiful voice.
What a great voice.
Yeah, you know, I wrote the song Timeless before it was supposed to be an instrumental, and we recorded with my band and my wife singing and the rest of my band playing. And then Will had the idea. He said, "Why don't we send this melody to India? Maybe she can write some lyrics and sing," and she did. And when I heard it, I said, "Wow, you know, what made it into something totally new," because the song was, as an instrumental, had no lyrics. Now she wrote the beautiful lyrics and sang on it. It was a great voice, so I love that song. Yeah,
some of the people, I guess, are pretty obvious. You know, when you think about, you know, if I want to get some big names to appear on my record, you know, the Justin, the India, you know, the Erica, but Black Thought from the Roots. That's really left of centre thinking, bringing him in on a Sergio Mendes record, isn't it?
You know, that was Will's idea, and you know, that song was an instrumental that I recorded years ago. I didn't even know it was me playing, and Will had to send me the record to show me that because this was like an instrumental record I did for Atlantic, and then, you know, he put together the Black Thought and all those guys, you know, the guests. So he kind of put that track together, which I like it very much too.
When you heard the finished results, were you even surprised? And I'm thinking of a song like Please Baby Don't, the John Legend song, which is just a beautiful song on the record, and a standout track on the record.
Yes.
Were you as surprised when you heard the record as I guess a lot of the fans hearing it for
You
the
mean
first
when
time?
I heard the final product?
Yeah.
Well, I was involved with the mixing. I was a mixer in New York named Tony Maserati. He's Will's friend, and he mixed the Black Eyed Peas record, the Elephant Records, and a great mixer. And so I came to New York, and I talked to him, and I started listening when he was putting the things together. It was fascinating, the fact that he kept the sound, and he kept all the components that you know are important on the record, and I think he's got a great taste in mixing, and he put it together beautifully. And then my friend Bernie Grundman, the final touch, which is the mastering, and Bernie had mastered my old records 40 some odd years ago, so we're together at Bernie's studio in LA, and he was like mastering, and we were like reminiscing, you know, the Brazil 66 days. Now he's remastering Timeless in 2006. Still with the same fresh ears and the same impeccable taste that he has. So it was a combination of a lot of people, a great team working together. Musicians, singers, and mixers, and you know, master.
One of those legendary names, Stevie Wonder. Have you worked with Stevie before?
Yes, I did. I wrote years ago. I met him in Brazil, and he asked me to write a Portuguese lyric for him that he wanted to sing in Portuguese, and I did. And then he wrote a song for me called "The Real Thing," which I recorded. I think it was Brazil 77 or something. I don't remember exactly. And he played clavinet, and I've seen him on and off for many years. We both live in LA, and he was making a record. He was recording in the same building in LA that I was working with Will, and he came in and he listened to the song, and he asked me for a copy, and he told me tomorrow bring my harmonica, I'll put a solo. I was like, yeah, miracle happened.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about, you know, Will.i.am, Black Eyed Peas, all the superstar guests that you've got on this record, but it still sounds like a Sergio Mendes record, doesn't it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Was that obviously it was the goal to come out
Both
with that.
myself and Will, we wanted to be sure that, the sound was there, that people would identify that was, you know, my record, you know, was not only was the song, but was the style.
Yeah, because we're talking about how adventure it is to have, you know, somebody as legendary as yourself appearing with all of these people on a record in 2006. But if we jump back 40 years, the treatment that you did on the Beatles' "Fool of the Hill," that was also very adventurous in its day, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was what sort of reaction did you get from you know, not only recording a Beatles song, but this is talking about recording a Beatles song when the Beatles were still together, and then you go on and have a massive hit around the world with the song? Very few people have ever had hits with Beatles songs.
I'm a melody guy. I love great melodies. When I record Jobim or McCartney or Burt Bacharach, or when we did the Scarborough Fair, which was an old Irish folk song. And I just loved the melody so much, and I made the arrangement, and it sounded kind of Brazilian. It sounded like us,
Well, when you did Scarborough Fair, Simon and Garfunkel had just done it.
They had recorded before. Yeah, they recorded, and I love that melody. So I mean, what I'm saying is that I like rhythms from different places, melodies from different places, and as an interpreter, I don't have to do just songs that I write. I have the pleasure that I can do Cole Porter, I can do Pixinguinha, I can do Tom Jobim, Baden-Powell, or whoever, or John Legend that wrote that beautiful song.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Carlos Santana once, and it was very similar to your career, I guess, where Carlos is able to take other people's songs, as he did with Fleetwood Mac's Black Magic Woman, The Zombie, She's Not There, and turn them into his own. You've really done the same thing with the Beatles and with Scarborough Fair. You've actually put a new stamp on these songs that have made them Sergio Mendes songs, haven't you?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but that's the challenge. I guess if you can do that, get a great. And I guess when a songwriter writes a song, he hopes that. In the old days, people recorded many. I mean, I don't know how many thousands of recordings you have of Girl from Ipanema or whatever. And now you see young singers recording old great songs again. You see people like Rod Stewart doing Cole Porter or Irving Berlin, which I think it's great because a writer writes a song for singers to sing and performers to play. So when you had the great Brazilian songbook, and you had people like from Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Tony Bennett, in my case, I love melody, and to be able to record a great melody, to record a Brazilian melody or an American melody or an English, gives me a lot of pleasure.
I guess it all happened again for you when we got to the 80s. Never Gonna Let You Go was a massive hit. I remember playing it on radio here. Right. And a huge hit in this country.
Again, when I heard that melody, I said, I have to record that. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. And I guess that was, we must have been coming up to like 20 years into the career at that point.
That was in 83, I think. Yeah.
Were you surprised when you 20 years down the track you had another hit?
Here
we are 40 years down the track and still doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. It must never cease to amaze. Because you started out your music when you were a very young boy, didn't you? You were
like
studying. 7 years old.
Classical music.
Classical music. Your dad was a doctor.
Right.
And you went off on a different tangent altogether.
Classical music for a while, which I'm glad. And then jazz.
Yeah.
Jazz bands around Rio, and listening to great jazz records, to the great pianists like Bud Powell, Art Tatum, Horace Silver, and then Charlie Parker, all the greats, And then I came to New York, made a record with Cannonball Adderley, which was, just meeting him was like awesome. I mean, to me it was like, wow, I'm meeting Cannonball Adderley, And he invited me to make a record with him, and I did. And
when did you actually move to the United States to live?
I came in the end of '64 to Los Angeles.
And have been there ever since?
Yeah, but I go to Brazil every year. So I have family and friends, so I spend a couple of months, a month there.
Yeah. It was interesting.
I'm going now again.
Oh, yeah. It was interesting naming the band Brazil 65 originally, wasn't it? Then it became 66.
Yes, then 77, 88, now... No more numbers.
No more numbers.
No,
too much hard work having to change the band name every year.
Yes.
One of the band members was Lonnie Hall.
Right,
wasn't she?
My dear friend. She was in this concert at the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, was she?
Her and Herb. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did The Look of Love together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's a wonderful, great singer.
Yeah.
And Herb played the trumpet, and it was like a magical moment.
It was with Lonnie Hall. We're talking about the wife of Herb Albert.
Yes. And the sound of Brazil 66. The great vocal sound.
Yeah. Was she in your band and that's how she met Herb? Or
yes.
Is that true?
That's true.
Wow.
Yes.
So, because of course you were recording for A&M Records, and Herb being the A in A&M,
That's right. And a lot of people think that M is Mendes, but unfortunately not.
It should have been after.
I wish.
It should have been Matchmaker.
No, it's Moss, my dear friend Moss, Jerry Moss. Yeah.
But you know, I guess that's probably one of the big celebrity matchmaking. It
was a great label.
History.
Wonderful, wonderful time being there. You know, very artist oriented, and so many great bands came out of that. The Carpenters, Police, and I mean, it's a great band.
That's correct. Were you all did you all know each other, all the artists at A&M?
Yeah, it was a very nice environment, very nice musical atmosphere around there. Great music. Jobim did a lot of albums for A&M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the time you were working with A&M, you were also recording jazz records for Atlantic, weren't you?
On the beginning, yes, because before A&M, I met Nesu Ertegun, which was the chairman and owner of Atlantic Records. In Brazil, he came down to Rio to make an album with Herbie Mann.
Wow.
And I was working a club in Brazil, and he signed me to Atlantic Records. So when I met Herb, I was signed with Atlantic, and I had to ask him permission to go with A&M, and he said, go, good luck.
Yeah.
But you still owe me some 3 albums, instrumental, which I did, actually.
Yeah.
We are very good friends. He was another important person in my life, in many areas. You know, he introduced me to a lot of great things like art and literature, and we both love football very much. So we saw the World Cup in Mexico in 1970 together, and so we had that in common as well, and jazz and bebop and all that.
Yeah. Well, you're touring at the moment. You know, obviously you can't take all of the Black Eyed Peas and John Legend and Erica and India. How do you actually get by doing?
You know, I have with us here in Australia, and we've been touring all this whole year. Young rapper from LA. His name is Krishna Booker. So he does that. He's also a great percussionist.
Yeah.
So the numbers that we don't have Will, unfortunately. I mean, Krishna does it very well.
Yeah.
And then I have great singers, so we're able to reproduce all the songs from the album.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And what are the plans now for the future, 2007, 2008, 2009?
Well, a new album.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the New Year's, I'm planning to stay in Brazil with Will for about a few days.
Another Will.i.am record?
With him, yes. So yeah, we had a great time. We're going to go for another one.
Wow.
Yeah.
And full of special guests again?
You know, special guests, but the theme will be still great Brazilian songs, you know. And that's what I love to do, and me too. So,
do you have a short list of who
not
will
yet,
be on the record?
Not yet. I think starts with a song. We're gonna look for songs, write songs, and you know, maybe travel in Brazil to find some new things, because it's a wonderful, you know, the diversity of sounds and melodies. So we're gonna do a little exploration there and take a look and listen to some of the sounds and do that.
Wow. Well, I look forward to hearing part 2 of this project.
That's right.
Sounds very, very adventurous. Sergio Mendes, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for joining us.